y'all. Welcome back to another episode of Kick Your Boots Off, the podcast, or the Kick Your Boots Off podcast, whatever. This is Kari Tello. I'm here with my husband again.
Hello, I'm here again. 2 in a row.
2 in a row,
Aren't
baby.
you guys lucky?
Everyone's stoked on Eric being here. I already know. Eric's the favorite child. We all know this. I hope everyone is having a great first week of November. It is
pink pie time.
pink pie. I hope you guys know what we're referencing.
Pumpkin pie.
The grandma. Do you know what we're referencing?
Grandma's boy? No.
Pink pie. Pancake pie.
It's a very select viewership. Anyway, happy
Okay,
November.
It's so good. Anyways.
Get your gobblers out.
It's birthday month.
Whoa. How old are you turning?
Excited? I'm turning 27.
She's a cougar, y'all.
Wah, wah.
She's got me beat by 8 months.
I'm a few days away from being in my late 20s. That sucks.
That's wild. Born on 11/11. Say happy birthday to her.
Thanks.
Her angel numbers are peaking right now.
My angel numbers are everywhere right now. Okay, not joking. I swear to God, every time I look at the clock, I feel like multiple times throughout the day, I'm seeing angel numbers. It's like 111, 222. I don't really see 333, but 444.
All of them.
1212, 1111.
It's a sign.
I don't know what the heck is up, but there's good vibes.
Good vibes out here.
There's good vibes in the air. So I just got home from Mammoth Minis, and I will definitely have a lot more updates come like December. I feel like after this craziness of all the travel that happens this fall, once I'm able to like actually debrief, I feel like I should just do a whole episode just telling you guys about everything that happens.
I feel like it's supposed to be a down season for you, and it's
super not.
It's hectic.
Yeah. My down season is going to be February. No, it's going to be January. I've decided no shoots in January.
I support that.
Thank you. And it'll be our anniversary.
It'll be our anniversary.
Yes. So coming up this week, we are leaving in 2 days for Sedona.
Nice.
To celebrate my birthday.
That'll be fun.
And I'm super excited because a couple that I absolutely adore, Haley and Sam, they moved literally a week after their wedding in Santa Barbara. They packed up and moved to Arizona. They live in Prescott. And it's seriously the cutest little town. So I'm like super excited to hopefully meet up with them.
I think it's pronounced Prescott.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Larry told me that last night. Shit. Sorry.
Hey.
Sorry, Arizonians.
I corrected you.
It's called Prescott.
Yes. It's okay.
That's so embarrassing.
We'll be in Sedona celebrating your B-Day.
We'll be in Sedona. I'm so excited.
Arizona.
Zonies. Are you going to go mountain biking without me on my birthday?
It was recommended to me by my coworker to bring my bike. And I said, not sure if the wife would love that on her birthday celebration.
No, you could go.
I'll just go before you wake up.
Honestly, yeah, that's perfect.
Get my wiggles out so I don't bother you all day.
This guy gets up. This guy bothers me.
If I don't do something active, I'm on her. And she is not about it.
That's so true. Eric's crazy.
I'm basically like an annoying chihuahua biting at her ankles all day. She's just kicking me.
I love that you're saying that about yourself and you're not making me say that about you.
No, I can get super annoying if I don't get my wiggles out.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's what's coming up. I'm so stoked.
Japan is in this month.
Oh, Japan, baby. I'm so hyped.
And then Cancun to celebrate my sister and brother-in-law.
Yeah. Eric is officiating, guys.
Putting on another hat, trying it out.
First time.
Could be Carrie shoots film / ERIC TELLO elopements in the future. You never know.
That's what I'm trying to make that happen for real.
Get my license and start officiating.
Yeah, we'll see how you like it. I think you're going to have so much fun. I feel like this persona of you right now.
The mic persona?
Yeah, you have a mic in front of you. You're a different person.
A little more confidence?
Yeah, yeah. You're like actually talking.
It's good. That's fine. I like it. It's fun. I hope it's not annoying.
It's not. It's so fun. Okay, so I am really stoked for our episode today because a little while back I posted in my story about just like if anyone had any ideas for like what they want to hear us talk about or want to hear me talk about. But this one is perfect for both of us to talk about because it is about how to support your partner in business. And this specific question that I got, her story is really cool and interesting because she really had no idea what her photographer husband was getting himself into. So she was very much like, yo, what is this? Like, what are you doing?
Is that a career path?
Is that a job? Are you going to
Mark?
support our family? Being a creative?
Yeah.
Like, I twitch? Like, what?
It's a little scary.
So I'm super excited to talk about this and especially to hear your perspective of like just the whole season of life where I didn't know what I was doing and I just quit my job
Yeah.
to be a photographer.
So epic.
So I wanted to start with like kind of the process. Well, yeah, kind of the process beforehand of like you going to school full time and how much I freaking hated that and
How much you hated that I was doing that or how much that you hated school?
how both.
Okay.
I hated that
Sure.
I was in school and I wanted to quit every class and I did.
Eventually.
And I eventually did. And then I was having to deal with the fact that Eric is a freaking smarty pants and is getting A's in every freaking class and taking fucking microphysics. I don't know what you did.
Microphysics.
I don't know.
You just mixed microbiology and physics together.
See, that proves exactly how much I know about school and what you went to school for. But
Right on.
so why don't you tell us more about why school was so important to you,
Mm-hmm.
and also just what your thoughts and feelings were when I was like, you want to work at an office? You want to work 9 to 5? That sounds like fun for you. And I would just like grill him and be like, that's what you want to do with your life?
Yeah.
And he's like, yes, it is.
Yeah. Sure, I can talk about it.
Yeah.
So I think it stems back to my family and how I was raised first. My parents are immigrants to this country from Peru. They came in their 20s before I was born. My brother and sister were born. And they came, like most immigrants, to give their kids a better life. So I think growing up and seeing how hard they worked for all of us, my siblings and I always had an idea of my life in my head that I would go to college and get a career that's worth getting and just be set for life because that was their dream for me. And I think that was kind of my driving, the beginning of it. I also loved learning and I loved school, high school, and definitely the STEM stuff, math and science, always stuck out to me. So I think a personality thing and just being raised in an immigrant family that you kind of want to get after it. You want to take the opportunity that you're given. So I jumped into it. And going to college, I liked all the schooling that I was in. Didn't know what I would be doing as a career, but I still followed that math science platform route and ended up choosing civil engineering. And I think in that season where we were both going to college, we actually took some classes together at Golden West College, a community college in our area. And I could see that you did not like it. You were struggling. You did not like high school at all,
Yeah.
educationally. So I think we're just different in that way. And it has to do with both things. Is my personality is I love to learn about stuff, and specifically math and science, and
You like to master things.
And I
like
also-
your hobbies, it like goes hand in hand with your hobbies and shit.
yeah,
You like get all excited about something and you're like, I'm gonna watch 20 hours of YouTube videos about this
definitely.
to figure out how to be the best at it.
Yeah, I try. I don't succeed at being the best, but I try. So yeah, I think that was the driving force, and then becoming my own adult and trying to figure out, okay, why do I want this? I think the whole 9 to 5 career path was because it was the most guaranteed way that I could earn money to have a family, which I think is the root of it, is that I wanted to have my own family with my own kids and live my own life comfortably and not worrying about paycheck to paycheck and not having to worry about my kids like in the future, because we don't have kids yet, but not having to worry about where, if they want to do sports, to come up with the funds to do stuff like that or go on trips. So I think the main driving factor is, I wouldn't say that I've dreamt about having a 9 to 5 career job. Wouldn't say I love being in an office every single day, but I love what it allows me to do and what will allow me to do in the future of having a family and supporting my family.
Wow, that's so sweet.
So that was my vision as a young 20-year-old in college. And I think your vision was more,
So all over the place.
yeah, just a little all over the place. And I think what I just said might sound like super nice and whatever, but it's also kind of the downside to that is you don't really live in the present moment. And I'm always planning for the future, 20 years out for no reason. So I tend to miss things in the present time, whereas I think you and your personality and the way you were thinking about things was what's going to make me happy in the day-to-day. And I think that's why you pursued the route that you took.
Wow, this is so cool. I'm so stoked that we're talking about this, because I feel like we would have no other reason to really like debrief.
Get into the nitty-gritty?
Yeah. Okay, so with all of that, from your perspective, what was it like for you when I was like, okay, I'm quitting my job. I'm quitting my barista job. You knew I hated it.
Yeah.
You knew I was like, we both worked at Jack's for like 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And we were in retail while you were going to school. And then I transitioned into working at the coffee shop.
Yeah.
I worked at 2 coffee shops, but transitioned to being a barista. Immediately wanted to be the manager.
Mm-hmm. Well, you came from managing a surf shop, so that makes sense.
Yeah, that's true. And then we got married. And then I was still a barista.
Yeah, I think in that whole season, like, I'll even go back further when you were going to school OCC for graphic design. I could tell that you were putting in the effort to like try and figure out what the heck am I going to do for the rest of my life. And it just wasn't clicking with you or resonating with you. And I didn't want you to do something that you weren't in love with. So I think dropping out of school wasn't really, couldn't say that it was the best idea at the time. But I also was like, well, if you're not going to love it, then there's no point. So yeah, figure it out another way. And obviously I had no idea what you were going to do, but you were going to figure it out.
Yeah.
And that's when you went to doing coffee, which you loved for a season. But even that, at a certain point, you were just grinding day to day and not being fulfilled at all.
Yeah.
And then came around to
Second shooting.
came around to you quitting after second shooting, yeah, a few weddings. And I think at that point I wasn't really worried because I had just graduated school and I was like, okay, I can get a career job and hopefully support us both. And you can figure out what you want to do. So I think the root of that is I just really wanted to watch you do what you wanted to do. I wanted to watch you love what you wanted to do.
Thanks.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
I wanted to watch you love your career and your choice in your career.
Thanks.
And like you mentioned at the beginning of the episode, I had no idea what wedding photography was about.
Yeah, I want to get more into that.
Yeah, sure. Do you want to ask me a question specifically or?
I'm curious, like, if you could even explain, like, the ins and outs of what I am doing now.
I think I have a pretty good grasp of it.
I think you do too, but from the question that I originally got, she was like, would it be super annoying for you to just explain your process? Because I literally don't know what you do.
Yeah.
Like she is like seeing more now, like how much work goes into it behind the scenes and like all the client communication, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And like the editing, culling, all that stuff.
Wedding photography is no joke. It's a hard job.
And
it literally looks beautiful from the outside looking in. Probably looks like a cakewalk, but it is a grind.
Yeah. Thanks for saying that. But yeah, I just like out of curiosity, I would love to see if you could just like
sure.
Like explain the wedding photography process.
Yeah.
From a non-creative. Eric also, you haven't figured this out, Eric is not a super creative person, but I say that with like, I don't know, what is the phrase I'm looking for?
A footnote?
With a footnote, sure. That I truly believe that every single human on this planet has a creative bone in their body, and they could create something regardless. Like creativity for you is like working on like building plans and shit. Not that you like super do that in your job right now, but that is something that like,
yeah, I think I'm creative in problem solving.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's being creative.
But I can't.
So if you're like this person and you're married to a creative.
Yeah, in the more
and you
literal
say
term.
You're not creative, like you are creative, and there is a part of your brain that works in that way for sure. So don't discount yourself if you have a like traditional 9-to-5 type of job and say I'm not creative, like you are.
Yeah.
I just want to encourage the non-creatives.
The literal.
But anyways,
non-creatives.
Yeah, I want to hear from your perspective what you think wedding photography is.
Well, you get inquiries for brides who are
for weddings
from brides who are soon to be married.
Sometimes grooms,
sure. I don't know of any groom that's ever planned a wedding, but I'm sure it's out there.
I've had a couple.
And they go to you and say, hey, Kari Shoots Film, your work is epic and your vibe is epic and it would be a dream to work with you.
That's every time. That's what they say.
And hire you. You're our dream photographer. You're the best that's ever done it.
That's super not what they say every time. They go, we need a photographer.
And then you guys usually have a phone call, get to know, meet and greet. And then if you vibe, everything seems okay, you send them a contract with all the fine details. And if they choose to accept that, then you start doing more planning with them. You do another meet and greet, phone call, maybe, prior to the wedding to get the details sorted out. And then you do the timeline, you do the photos, and then the grind.
And then the grind really starts. That was actually really good.
Well, she works for 8 hours on her feet all day, which is probably a throwback to the freaking barista retail life. but
Honestly,
way harder.
Honestly, shooting a wedding day is so much harder than working at Jack's Surfboards.
Of course, 100%.
No hate to Jack's, but
yeah, it's more stressful.
it's way harder.
It's way more physical. You're out in the sun.
It's a lot more, like physically
draining.
Yeah.
Yeah, she comes home from wedding days like a zombie. And I try and help, and I can't. There's no helping. Just go to sleep.
That was really good. The only part that you kind of got wrong was that after our call, I send them a quote. And then they have to accept the quote.
And then they get a contract.
And then they got their contract.
If it's just
and
layman's terms. I was putting in layman's terms for the viewers.
Yeah, right. Perfect. That was perfect. So you did so good with that. I wasn't expecting you to figure it out that well.
I think too the part that made me excited about you doing your own business and being your own boss was the business side of it, which I feel like I haven't had the opportunity to get too involved in, kind of letting you do your own thing. But I feel like obviously I could be a big help in that situation. But
yeah, except that's the one part of my business that I want to outsource.
Yeah.
And Eric, every single time I say that, goes, well, you can do it.
Yeah.
I know I can do it, but I don't want to.
I'm a little frugal with things, and I always like, why would you pay someone when you can do it yourself?
Because I don't want to do it.
Yeah. And
stresses
understandably so. You have a lot of work already.
But you could do it for me if you want.
I could do it.
You have all the accountability of everyone that listens to this podcast now. You're my accountant.
Yeah. That stuff is fun.
Okay, so what I really want to get into is more so about, like, obviously that's all like the practical stuff. And like, you were obviously very supportive of me quitting my job to figure out a career path that I actually cared about and loved.
And I had no idea where it would lead. But
what were your first thoughts? Did you have any initial thoughts?
I don't even think I thought of anything. I think you were.
How do boys do that?
You were just
blank brain.
You were just bouncing around. You were bouncing around from thing to thing, and I'm like, yeah, try it all. Give it a shot. Whatever. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, you try something else.
Cool.
And I think I just believed in you being successful at some point.
Thanks. Well, that means a lot. But okay, anyways, what I was going to say is the part of, like, once I started working on the weekends, I quit my job, and now we have completely opposite schedules.
Yeah.
How?
Night and day schedules.
Yeah. Well, I feel like recently a big, like, part of, like, maintaining the balance of, like, still, I don't know, being supportive of each other has been, like, Eric has been planning date nights for us, which takes a huge, like, I feel like, a weight off of my shoulders to, like, have an intentional date night planned. And the fact that you put the time into doing that means so much, because obviously I'm, like, editing all day, every day. And then you get home from work and I'm like, shit, I didn't go to the grocery store today. What's for dinner?
Yeah, what's for dinner at 6 p.m.?
So the fact that you've been, like, planning date nights means a lot. And I feel like for anyone that is in that role of, like, the non-creative traditional job, like, maybe that's a way that you can support your partner.
Yeah.
Like,
I think
plan the quality time. Take the time to plan the quality time, because you know your weekends or weekend days with this person are going to be very, very limited.
Yeah.
Because that's when weddings happen.
Yeah.
That's when the normal couple is free to do their engagement shoot is on a Saturday or Sunday evening.
Yeah.
So.
Or weekday evenings right when I get home from work.
Or weekday evenings. Literally, Eric gets home and I'm like, okay, bye.
Yeah.
During the summer more so, but.
I've noticed, especially when you're in your busy seasons, which seems to be year round somehow.
Sorry.
Carrie is
I'm
literally
working on it.
Carrie is literally editing like all day, and she edits until 10 p.m., which is why I've come to learn that wedding photography is such a grind. And I have the luxury of when I leave the office, I don't have to work anymore, so I don't take anything home with me. And I think I have a lot more mental capacity or like free mental space to plan other things for us. And I should probably plan more dinners, but I don't like to do that.
Well,
Carrie's a good cook.
I still love, like, I love cooking, but I just like,
you just can't plan ahead.
if I'm sitting at the computer all day, you know this is just me, guys. I feel like every other wedding photographer probably has their shit way more together than I do. But it takes me like 2 or 3 hours when I wake up in the morning to like actually get into a good consistent flow with editing, or like just getting shit done in general.
Just to tune in to the schedule.
Yeah, it takes me a long time to wake up, and then I end up staying up till 11 p.m. at night because I'm like, oh, I feel like I just like started getting my like in my zone.
Yeah.
And it's like 8 p.m. and he's like, I'm going to go to bed in an hour. Like, bye.
Yeah.
I also feel like your flexibility with me staying up late, because I feel like when we first got married, that was something that I like, I don't know why, but I was just like, we should go to bed at the same time. Like, we shouldn't stay up and like
separately.
Yeah. And I don't know what or like where I got that idea from, as like going to bed at different times is bad. But then I also see like my friend Chloe, who is definitely going to be on the podcast. She's amazing. Like her and her husband have very different schedules.
Yeah.
And she is a night owl
Very
like I am. And it like kind of reassures me that we're both like, we feel like we're, I don't know, just getting stuff done later in the night.
Yeah.
And Wyatt freaking gets up and like goes to the gym and shit
like
at like 4 a.m. and then goes to work.
She's going to bed and he's getting up.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah. I think just have grace for your partner and support them, especially if it's something that they're passionate about. Like, I think that's what's really important, right?
Yeah.
If they're passionate about it and if it fulfills them, makes them happy, then do what you can, support them.
Yeah. So that's like on a day-to-day basis, the like staying up late, me not knowing what's happening when you get home at 5 and I'm like, I thought it was 1 p.m.
Yeah.
Why are you home? And there's still a pile of laundry sitting on the bed that I haven't folded for like a week and a half, going on 2 weeks now.
Yeah. It's all
There's
good.
so many things. Eric came home in a rage yesterday.
I didn't come home in a rage.
You got home.
I might have became enraged.
And then you became enraged. Let's see if I can name what was wrong with the house. My pile of laundry to start that was on the bed. There were 2 little, or maybe 3 little pieces of dirt on our
right past our front door.
Right in the front door. There were crumbs on the table from the lunch that I had.
Dinner table.
And there was a spot of coffee. This is going to make my mom crazy, if anything.
Yeah.
And there was a spot of like dried coffee on the counter that I didn't wipe off.
And splotches in the sink. And I think there was a dish in there too.
And that's another thing. The dishes need to be done when he gets home from work, or he is sent into a tizzy.
Yeah.
So this guy gets home. I'm like, oh, honey, you're home. And he immediately, I'm just hearing him like pulling out the vacuum out of the closet and just like not even speaking to me.
Yeah.
It's like the most enraged I've seen you since our aunts and pizza. Yeah. And before that, it's been like 3 years. I really got him good. I got him good this week.
But explain to them what my enraged looks like. I just don't say anything and I start cleaning. So is that the worst thing ever?
But the silence is scary. Like I know when something is wrong.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh shit, he's pissed right now because he's not speaking.
Hey. And then I clean it up for you, so.
I'm doing really good.
You're doing your best.
I'm trying.
That's all I can ask for.
I'm really trying. I'm a mess monster and Eric is OCD, so.
And I knew that going into this, so.
Mowage. So, okay, this was the other thing that I wanted to hit on though. That's we got on a whole side tangent right there. That was the day-to-day.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm curious if I don't think you feel this. And this is just something that my friend said with this question and like topic in general.
Yeah.
Is like she was mentioning how like she gets the feeling of like, oh, like I don't want to like share how awesome my Saturday was when he was shooting a wedding outing. But do you ever feel like that if you have like a really great weekend?
No.
And I've just been working all weekend?
I don't think
you don't
so.
give a shit?
I think because vice versa, you support me in my free time and you want me to be happy too. So I'm always like, yeah, I surfed for 5 hours. It was epic. And then I went mountain biking and it was epic. And then on Sunday, I went golfing. I had the best weekend ever.
Yeah. Well, and I also I feel like that will change a lot once we have a kid.
Yeah.
Because their perspective is like, she is like getting to have this awesome like time taking their 17-month-old
Yeah.
out to like do these fun like little kid things.
Day trips. Yeah.
Yeah. And he's
yeah,
like working.
It's definitely going to be sad
with
for
me,
those
probably.
type of experiences. But I think there are ways around that where you just have to be intentional and schedule things way in advance, which I've learned to do with you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always constantly asking Carrie, are you free 4 weeks from now on this day? And if she is, I make her put it in her calendar that we have plans.
Yeah, which
so
is super helpful for me.
We can do things together.
Totally. Yeah. You show me a lot of grace and you go above and beyond to like be intentional about planning quality time and stuff too.
I do my best.
And I also do feel like I personally feel that like guilt when I'm like traveling really epic places.
Oh, and I'm not able to
and
go with
you
you?
have to stay at home.
Yeah, it's a
and
lot harder
work.
when you're traveling on the weekdays and I'm at work. That sucks.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to get upset about it. It's your job.
But then I also feel bad when like I get a cool inquiry for like a weekend thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I want you to come with me selfishly because I want you to be there when I get home from shooting this wedding.
Yeah.
But there's still a whole
8-hour day
that I'm going to have to work on this trip
Mm-hmm.
where you like just have to figure it out for yourself and like do something if you want to do something. So I feel that's when I feel really bad. I feel like and also I feel bad when I leave on like weekday trips because like that just sucks.
I mean,
that you don't get to come with me.
in a perfect world, which, hey, maybe we'll get to this at some point, we can just do everything together.
Yeah.
And I don't have to miss out on anything. But that's
you
the
only
way
have
it is.
so many sick days.
It's the way it is right now. And I'm just grateful that you found something that you love.
Thanks. Yeah, you're a great hype man. For real.
What is a husband for other than to support his wife?
That's so classic of you to say. Well, okay, so I want to ask now, like, how could I support you better? Being the creative one and the one that's like, my schedule's all over the place. I make my own schedule.
Mm-hmm.
Like, are there any things that I could be doing better? You can keep it real. Everyone that listens to this podcast is a homie. So if you need to roast me right now, I'm okay with that.
Put her on blast.
Put me on blast.
No, I
have the accountability.
I think this comes down to a personality thing. It's just the scheduling. The day-to-day scheduling is hard for you. But I think you could get better. And the fact that like doing the things around the house, which don't take long, but the scatterbrain gets in the way. And
I also I've never noticed little messes like that.
Yeah.
Like they just don't bother me at all.
Carrie's eyes don't see mess. They just see a room. So personally, I think in our own relationship, I don't know if that relates to everyone else, but the little things definitely would help. And
clean up your coffee stains.
Supporting me in the day-to-day. I think that's about it. I'm not sure what else you could do. I think you just have to work.
Get up and work, bitch. What does Kim Kardashian say?
I don't know.
She's something like that.
Yeah.
Stop being lazy, get off your ass and work.
Yeah. Which I think you get used to doing that in the corporate world. Get up at the crack of dawn before the sun comes up. Go to work. Be on time. No complaints. But as your own boss, it's a lot harder to force that on yourself.
Yeah, it super is. Have grace with me.
Lots of grace. Don't worry.
Guys, I barely graduated high school. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
Yeah. You're figuring it out.
I just like to...
simultaneously killing it somehow.
Thanks. Well, I'm giving it my best shot. I feel like we pretty much covered like how like the balance of supporting, like how you support me.
Yeah, I think to sum it up, just like there's obviously things that the other person can't do, and if you notice that, then put in more work on that side of things. If your significant other's way too busy to plan dates, then be that person.
Yeah.
If they're...
I feel like you don't have to have a Friday night or a Saturday night date night on a Friday or a Saturday.
Not at all.
Like, do it on a Wednesday.
Yeah. Make some sacrifices. Stay up late on a weeknight.
Yeah, like we are right now.
Like we are right now.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah. It's all good stuff.
Yeah, I think that's super good.
And it's all exciting.
It's super exciting. Well, did you guys have anything to add? My producers? My producers are a photo, video, podcasting, multiple other job duo.
Yeah. Husband and wife as well.
They're just vibing. It's like 11 o'clock at night at this point.
They're we're different. They both do the same thing.
Yeah.
So it's a very different ball. You should have them as a guest.
Yeah,
as
we're
a creative couple.
We're gonna have them as a guest. I'm sorry, I put you on the spot.
No, that's good. Save it for another episode.
Yeah, that'll be a whole episode talking about
I feel like that's even more interesting because you would have creative visions that might conflict.
Ooh, that's some tea.
Carrie and I do not have that problem at all.
I'm the visionary.
She's the creative eyes, and I just say, yeah, that looks great.
We'll shoot a wedding or like a couple shoot, and I'll just be so hyped on the photos. And I'll be like, look, you want to look through the whole gallery with me? And I make him look through the whole gallery with
like,
me.
Personally, I love what you do, but I can't see 1,000 photos. They're all going to look the same at some point.
But even like the smaller galleries, I feel like I'm like, look at this one. Look at this one.
Yeah.
Wait, look at this one.
I don't know.
And he's like, yeah.
I don't think I can handle that many.
Which I get because that's the same reaction I have to his work.
Yeah.
But I know he's with me in
But
spirit.
when you do those 10 posts on Instagram, the 10 photos that you can post.
My scroll.
I love them all.
My carousel posts.
And I definitely have shared some of my favorites with you.
Yeah, you have.
There's definitely some where I'm like, this is a banger photo.
Yeah. Well, thanks for doing that. I feel like, yeah, that's a good ender point too. It's like, just like encourage your partner in what they're creating. If you're the traditional career, non-creative, blah, blah, blah person, like you still have a creative eye and you can see when something is like really epic. So like
a photo can still, yeah.
Just like, don't be afraid to be like, this is actually really cool and like encourage your person.
This is art.
This is art.
You've
dude.
created art.
Yeah. Well, now let's go get some prints. I'm going to get prints of all my favorite weddings and engagement shoots and put them in my office.
Plaster the house with them.
Your faces will soon be on my wall.
Random strangers to me. Carrie's best friends.
Eric's like, who the fuck are these people? Why are they hanging in the office?
And Carrie can name each of you by your first and last name and your favorite color.
That's not true.
Buddy the Elf, what's your favorite color?
I was going to say that.
In the spirit of almost Christmas.
Of the holidays. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in to another episode of Kick Your Boots Off. I've barely looked at the camera all this episode. Thank you for coming along for this journey and listening to Eric and I talk for the last 2 episodes.
Make sure you tell her that you want me on here more because I had a lot of fun.
Yeah. If you guys have requests for more episodes with Eric, please let me know. Also, I haven't been saying this, but like, show me some love, okay? If you're listening, rate me on Spotify, subscribe, follow, do all the things.
Give her a shout out on your Instagram.
And share on your Instagram stories because it would just simply mean the world to me if you actually are enjoying this podcast, if you want to share it with your friends. And yeah,
we'll see you next time.
I hope everyone has a great rest of their day.
Enjoy Thanksgiving with your families.
There's going to be more episodes before Thanksgiving, Eric.
Enjoy
the weekend.
This week of November.
Enjoy my birthday week, bitches. And that's a wrap.
And run the supper club.
And into supper club.